Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Before I start, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody that watched, subscribed, and commented on my last video. It was by far the most successful video I've ever made, so I'm looking to create more and more content like that. So if you do have a question or you do have a comment, drop it in the comments below. Any good ones, I might even turn into individual videos themselves. So again, thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Anyway, in this week's video, I'm going to be giving you 3 tips that I guarantee will change the way you look at the game in one way or the other. But first, let's answer, what is great crosshair placement? Great crosshair placement is preemptively having your crosshair where you think the enemies are going to be before they are actually even there. And this is a combination of practice, game sense, and experience. So, how do you get great crosshair placement? Let's find out. Today's stream is sponsored by twitch.tv/Soyage. Soy is a streamer who does a variety of things on stream, from Valorant to RPGs, as well as a lot of just chatting and engaging meme content with his amazing community. For the low price of $0 per month, you get full access to Soy's streams, his chat, you even get a few cool emotes just by following. And if you subscribe, there's even ad-free viewing, even more emotes, and a bunch of other perks. But that's only for Giga Chads. Are you a Giga Chad? Be warned, Soy is Australian and my god does he talk like one. Yikes. Yes, I did just put an ad for my stream on my YouTube. That's content. Anyway, tip number 1, let them come to you. Have you ever been in the situation where you're rotating or maybe dry peeking an angle and then you just get one tapped out of nowhere and you think, how the hell has this person known exactly where I am? Are they in my head? Well, yes, you have. We've all been there, literally. So how the hell did they do that? Well, there's 2 reasons. The first reason being they probably just sat on a really commonly pushed angle and waited, and waited, and waited, and waited. The second reason is they actually had their crosshair at head height level. A huge mistake I see a lot of people making is that they hold a really good angle, but they have their crosshair far too low. Why? Well, it's because if you're holding an angle that you know people are going to push, then you psychologically know that you're going to have a split second of time more than them to actually catch them off guard. So what your brain does is you think, how do I play this safely? Well, if I have an extra half a second or a second, that gives me maybe 2 to 4 bullets that I can put into them. So if I aim for their body, the likelihood is I will kill them. And if you're in a lower elo, you just simply don't have the confidence to be trying to attempt these one taps. All of this is true, but in the long run, it's not something that you're going to want to stick to. It's going to make it really difficult to actually improve and rank up. As you get higher and higher in ranks, you'll notice that that extra half a second that you had to put 2 to 4 shots into their body is gone. People hit some crazy one taps and flicks in this game, especially due to the RNG that's involved in everything. For those unaware, RNG stands for Random Number Generator, and it's just a term that's applied in gaming to the randomness of the game itself. So for example, using a Vandal, just spraying, maybe one of the bullets hits them in the head and they are dead. It's luck. It's all luck. So what should you be doing? You should be aiming higher, and I mean higher. Not a little bit higher, I mean way higher than you probably thought you should be aiming. What you should also be doing is, if you know that you're holding an angle that is going to be pushed, other than having your crosshair actually at head height, you need to have it a little bit wider. And why is this? Because when you're holding an angle tightly, all this does is put extra pressure onto you when they actually do push into your crosshair itself. If you miss that first bullet, you're going to turn into just a turret Odin machine. This is not what you want. In these circumstances, you are relying 100% on your reaction speeds. And whilst that can be a good thing, if you don't have to rely on it, it's even a better thing not to. So what happens is, if you're holding an angle a little bit wider, especially if you're actually in a position that they won't check in the first place, all you have to do is let them walk into your crosshair. It's that simple. This is something that you'll see in higher elo lobbies and pro lobbies and things like that. The less you actually have to move your mouse, the more accurate you're going to be. So if by some chance you're holding the angle slightly wider than you were thinking and they do spot you, you still have that timing advantage to make a micro adjustment. You're not going to have to swing the angle like they are and just hope to the RNG gods they get a headshot. Here's a quick example on Bine's A site. When someone is pushing up A short here, they're going to have all their attention on lamps and then maybe somebody over here on triple watching them as they come in. So what you can do is not hold an angle like this, which is really open and kind of obvious, but maybe play an angle like this, which is more likely for them to actually just walk straight into. Now, what I'm saying with holding them wider is don't hold the angle like this, because this gives you next to no time when they push out to actually hit the headshot. And if they run straight through and you miss that headshot, you're going to be spraying everywhere and they're going to know exactly where you are. So what you should do is hold it a little bit wider, maybe somewhere like around here. And as they enter, they're going to be nading probably into here. Maybe they're going to be flashing back sight, but you're holding a pretty weird angle and you're holding it nice and wide. So what's going to happen is when they do actually get onto the site itself, let them walk directly into your crosshair. Bam, you get a free headshot, and then you sort of run away and hide behind here, giving your teammates time to actually get to the site whilst you have a kill. Even in a situation like this, if they have smoked off this area, for example, and you're not exactly sure if they're on yet, you still hold this angle because it's still wide enough that somebody is very likely to actually walk into it. And then all you need to do is either spam or maybe even spam default. You're in a really weird spot that nobody is expecting you to be in. And the odds of somebody actually running into this direct line of sight are still very high. Also, in a situation like this, maybe have like a Killjoy alarm bot or something set up here so that you don't really have to worry at all about baths. That leaves you full access, full range to the site itself. You can even get your kills here and then hide behind triple. That does make you a little bit more vulnerable to being pushed, but it's also an option. So in general, holding an angle nice and wide like this, as an example at least, is a really great way to at least get one kill, because people literally have to walk through this point in order to get onto the site itself. So take advantage of this. Play smart with your team so that you're not just fixated on one point while being vulnerable from others, and you're going to get easy kills. Number 2, look for markers. What I mean by this is Valorant is built in blocks, so a lot of things are actually the same height. It's a game design thing made for simplicity's sake. Here's an example of what I mean. A lot of the time, boxes and ledges are almost the exact same height as an agent's head, and this is something that not a lot of people are aware of. Use this to your advantage. When pre-aiming or holding, look for these types of markers to align your crosshair to. Let's have a quick look back at what I just did on A bind. Notice how I lined up my crosshair to the first top of the box. This is because it is roughly the same height as a headshot. Yes, it may not be perfect, but if you don't quite have the game sense yet to know just how tall an agent is, then these markers are a godsend. Don't get too fixated on searching for them though, as you should really be paying attention to what's going on around you. But if you start to actively notice these markers as you play, it will become second nature to just line up against them or make slight adjustments to your aim as you go. To add to this, it can often feel like you have to aim up in order to hit a proper headshot as opposed to hitting straight across. And this is because the camera angle on your body is mostly coming from the neck, not actually the face. So if you're aiming perfectly straight ahead, you're gonna get neck shots at best. We don't want neck shots, baby. We want headshots.
I'm still getting headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot.
One thing that I've noticed about my own play is that I fire much more effectively and I hit way more headshots when I can only see the enemy's head. For example, here on Icebox, when you're attacking, if somebody pops up from just above 410 here, you have nothing to aim for but the head itself. So I've incorporated this into my own technique, where if I'm in a gunfight, I try to visualize a box or something blocking the enemy, making it feel like I can only see their head, so I have nothing else to aim for. This has helped me significantly in spamming less and actually popping my shots trying to aim only for the head itself. But the point is to learn how you aim. Look at the circumstances that made your aim good, that made you get that headshot. Look at them under a microscope and actually focus on the things that make your aim good and practice those techniques. Because really everybody shoots differently, so just learn what you do well and keep doing it. So in general, I recommend aiming a little bit higher than you're probably comfortable with at the start at least. And in no time, you're going to be saying, Soy, you're a goddamn genius. My headshot accuracy has gone through the roof. I'm actually signed to 100 Thieves right now. I'm living with Hiko. He's in the toilet again. Why is he always in the toilet? Number 3, take your time. I really don't know what I'm doing half the time, except in Valorant. This last one, I'm going to give you a break from my face and play some of my clips from the last week just to make it a little bit more engaging, less shiny. It's hot, man. Give me a break. This last one is a tip that I've given before, I think, but it's a tip that always works in improving people's aim. Do you ever watch your teammates or streamers like me? I stream on Twitch, Valorant, other games, lots of stuff. Check it out. Anyway, these teammates or streamers, they always seem to take just a fraction of a second longer, but they always get these amazing headshots. Well, that fraction of a second used to be longer than just a fraction of a second. What they're doing is making micro adjustments in order to hit one clean shot, as opposed to being in the general head area and then just spamming, praying the RNG gods gift you a free kill. What you should do is follow their lead by playing deathmatch with only a sheriff or a guardian. The guardian is busted, by the way. You should absolutely be using it more in-game after you've practiced it using this tip. But you are seriously going to need to drop your ego for this one. Your number of kills do not matter under these circumstances. You get absolutely no RR for winning a deathmatch. The amount of people with their volume turned up to 100 sitting on an angle in a deathmatch is hilariously high. Put some music on, relax, run around, completely ignore the amount of kills that you get. And when you come across someone, take a full second if you need to. Pretend that you only have 2 or 3 bullets left, so make every single one count and only go for headshots. You will 100% get spammed by someone with a phantom who thinks that winning a deathmatch is an achievement. It's not. You will die a lot. And this also doesn't matter. You're actually progressing way more than these people because you're training in much better muscle memory patterns. Over time, you'll find that you're making micro adjustments or just finding people's heads much faster and more efficiently than you used to. That is when you have ascended to God status. Also, another micro tip is to then use your Vandal in a very similar way that you would use a Sheriff or a Guardian. 1 bullet headshots are basically the Vandal's bread and butter. Yes, you can spray with it, but don't, unless you're in a really close ranged gunfight, that is. And even then. So once you've got your aim and your micro adjustments down, then you can work on things like strafing between shots and you will become an absolute demon to play against. Wait, so you're going to become a god and a demon? That makes no sense at all. So the summary of this point is to actually focus on the right ways of learning muscle memory and getting headshots. Spamming teaches your body the wrong thing to do, and every time someone pops out, you're going to default to just... Over time, that second that you're using to actually make these micro adjustments to aim for the head is going to become half a second, a quarter of a second, less and less and less. And that's the point. Learn slow, become fast. Finito, that's the end of another video. Now I know that everybody has gotten at least one little thing from this video that they're going to incorporate into their game. So if you did, I want you to drop it in the comments. I want to know which one is going to make a difference to your gameplay. And if you have different tips, drop them in the comments too. I would love to know. This is a community, everybody helping everybody get better, and I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for all your support. I will see you next week. Big love from your boy Soy.